Another story from Have I Told Y'all This? A collection of stories that happened in mine and my husband's lives. You have to get volume 1 and volume 2 from Amazon so you can read them yourself, or they make wonderful gifts for people you don't know what to give them. You could just give them these 2 books. The story I'm going to read now is Suffering in Silence. A big glob of hot burning wax hit the top of my head at the same instant, right up here. At the same instant, a giant-sized elf costumed foot stepped within inches of my hands. Oh, I can hardly breathe. It hurt so bad. However, I dreaded the tongue lashing I knew would erupt if I cried for help. So I scrambled back in the dark shadows of a building and cried silently. I missed the entire Mardi Gras parade in Mobile that Saturday night in 1950. I soon learned that the pain lessened if I pressed the spot of wax really hard with my right fingers. The wound was about an inch from the center part of my hair and right under the beginning of the braid on that side. Immediately, the 4 to 5 rows of parade viewers right in front of me began to chant, "I smell burning hair! I smell burning hair!" And then they shuffled around, being careful not to lose their spot right beside the street. But by then, I had already slipped in the shadows of a house and out of view and out of smell. Since I could feel hair where the wax fell, I could braid my own hair, and I knew I was tough, and I would tough it out until we went home the next day. I had dried my tears by the time the parade was over and eased back where my sisters and aunt and uncle and neighbors were there. My sister Vivian Eve, Jane, and Olene's husband, Pete Fowler. And Pete Fowler was holding my baby sister Eloise on his shoulders. And then there was Auntie Bibb and Uncle Willard and their neighbors, the Parkers, who were standing right there. Now, the Parkers and our aunt and uncle lived in Mobile, and we went down to see the Mardi Gras parade. Even with a couple of rows between them and the parade, my family could have a good view of it. Now, I was 11 years old, and I was too short, and I couldn't see. That is why I got down on my hands and knees, and I crawled between some people's legs, and according to their feet, I saw an opening between them on the front row. It was just as my head reached that front row space that fire and brimstone fell from heaven. I'm almost certain that there were electric light streets on some of the, there were electric lights on some streets in Mobile in 1950, but they were holding to tradition and had these costumed young men carrying huge wax torches on each side of this Mardi Gras parade as to light the way. Before we went and when we arrived at the parade site, if Auntie Bibb and Miss Parker said it one time, they said it 1,000. Do not get close to the street. Hot wax will fall on you from the torches. But I could not see a thing at the parade. And that's what happened. And I thought, oh Lord, they're going to give me a big tongue lashing for sure. Well, I thought no one would ever know. I would suffer in silence, and I could braid my own hair, is what I told myself. My plans got changed the next morning. We were all getting ready to go to church with Auntie Bibb and Uncle Willard when Auntie Bibb told Eloise and me to go run across the street to Miss Parker's and let her braid our hair. She did not even consider that I should stay and braid my own hair when I told her. She said I must go to Miss Parker's, period. So we went. I let Eloise be first, while I persuaded Miss Parker to let me braid my own for fear that she would find the big glob of wax. Or she might even see that my head was throbbing with every beat of my heart. She would not even let me touch her comb. So there I was. I would just grit my teeth and bear the pain. She braided the left side first. And then, when her comb ran across the unbraided hair on the right side, her comb brought out a quarter-size hunk of flesh with long hair still attached. Mrs. Parker almost fainted. She did not know that I did too. I almost fainted. Oh, she thought, what have I done? She called Auntie Bibb to come over. Well, I lied, and I told them that I did not know what had happened, and I did not hurt at all. They decided that I got burned so bad with hot wax that it killed the nerves, was why I did not feel any pain. Well, after putting some mystery salve on it, Mrs. Parker gently braided what remained of my hair. Back at home, Mother carried me to old Dr. Allred. He prescribed some sulfur-smelling salve to put on it daily. Mother washed my head once a week with P&G laundry soap because Miss Deli Rogers had told her that it was the best to heal sores. 6 months later, it left a dime-sized scar that I still have today on top of my head. Now this P&G soap, here's a picture of a bar of it. It was usually used to wash clothes with, maybe to wash dishes with, but you'd rub it on your clothes when ladies were having to wash clothes by hand. They'd rub those big bars on it. But it helped to heal my head.